Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Market Prep. I hope you're having an amazing morning. Hopefully, you guys had an incredible day yesterday, and hopefully, got actually an incredible weekend. So, hopefully, you guys had a really, really good weekend. Peter, I know you had some weekend celebrations with your wedding anniversary. Hopefully, that was pretty fun, and hopefully, you had a great time, you and your wife.
Indeed, yes. 32nd wedding anniversary. So, yes, fantastic.
Nice.
It was a good weekend of doing virtually nothing, which is exactly the way we like it. So, it was great, and I hope Friday went well. I did dial in on YouTube just to check. I had to check in, make sure things were going okay. Seemed like you and John were getting along, so that was good. That was good. Yeah. And then come back to the news this morning because I purposely did not look at anything, although it seemed virtually impossible to avoid the political news from yesterday. Yeah. And we'll see how that affects the market today because. Obviously this is a big change to the U.S. political race here. It's going on. Will be decided in November, and we'll see how the markets are going to react to this because it's so far actually not much of a reaction. I'm a little surprised the markets are as calm as they are so far, but I think once the opening bell rings, the big money is going to start to weigh in, and we'll see what happens. I mean, it also means that we got to be on edge, right? Because
Yeah.
I feel like things are little up in the air right now, right? And we'll have to see where things go.
Yeah, should be a very exciting. So much going on over the weekend. You saw Trump even mentioning something about cryptocurrency, so coin and a lot of Bitcoin stuff is going up this morning. China's cutting rates. I mean, it is, you name it, it's a lot happening. We'll see how that's going to affect the market today. But before we do that, no economic data today, Peter. So let's look at there is some?
No. There's nothing scheduled, which is rare for today. I mean, as I said, we got to keep watching the news because you never know what political news is going to happen. But we do have earnings. Oddly, it's a little quiet this morning. No huge earnings before the market open. We'll talk about Verizon. That's probably the big one. But other than that, a bunch of, sort of the second tier banks. We had a lot of the banking sector report last week. We've got sort of the second and third tier banks, if you will. They may be great banks, but they don't trade very well. So that's not going to be very interesting. But later this week, we got stuff coming. SAP reporting after the close today. Tomorrow, we've got things like Coca-Cola, GM, Lockheed Martin, right? Those are some bigger companies that can trade some volume. And then we get into the big stuff, right? Tesla, Google, AT&T, even IBM. We've got Ford, coming Thursday. We've got a couple of big companies with American Airlines, another airline reporting. So it's going to be a busy week, I think, for earnings, and that should give us some trading opportunity. But today we're starting slow, and we'll build. We'll build as we go through this week.
Yeah, we sure will. Let's get to it, guys. Our gappers list right now is made up of a couple of tickers that we're very familiar with. I think the first one we've seen in the past. I don't recall when, but the rest are very familiar. SoFi, DJT, Hood, PHG's been in here once or twice, and CLSK, Nvidia, Riot. I mean, all these are very familiar. So we'll see what's driving them this morning. And then on the gap down, SMR and Crowd. If you guys remember, Crowd continues to create havoc. My dad's flight got canceled like 3 times. He's going down to West Palm Beach, and he was leaving last night. That got canceled. He was leaving Sunday night. That got canceled. And they're using the excuse of the Microsoft blackout situation, right? So causing a lot of issues. That's with United, and then other airlines are perfectly fine, like Southwest and some other ones. So it's
I'd sent a tweet in our little private message because it really made me laugh. Where I'm sure it was fake. It was pretending to have been sent from Southwest, and they said, "Oh yeah, who loves us now at Southwest? You like to make fun of us, but we have been completely unaffected by the outage because we run our entire system off of a Commodore 64 sitting somewhere in Newark." So it was it just made me laugh because it's probably closer to the truth than Southwest would like to admit. But anyways,
I would not be surprised. But yeah, so it's having still being felt in a lot of places because of that. They're down 4% today. And then we talked about rice a little bit earlier. So yeah, let's take a look, guys. Let's see what's the first one on here is going to be SERV this morning. So SERV, it is up 35%, 23 million shares trades. That's tons of volume this morning. They were active Friday. I did not see this on Friday, but look at Friday going almost from $4 all the way to 9 back to around 750. And today added again. So low floor stock sitting at a 23.4 is what I have, 23 million
Yeah.
at the moment. So Peter, what's the news on this?
The float is 23.4 million, but about 6 million of those are owned by Nvidia, and that's really the news, that Nvidia bought another million shares at $2.42. This feels a little overblown. So I mean, they obviously got a good price, right? They bought those million shares, like I said, at $2.42. The price is $10 today.
Yep.
They've already made 5 times their money almost on this.
Yeah.
So
Sell.
yeah, they're not doing too bad. But I mean, this is not huge news because they'd already owned about 5 million shares. They're just adding another million to the pot. So yay, serve robotics. But Nvidia, it's one of these. If you remember, a couple of months ago, there was a whole bunch of companies that jumped up as Nvidia sort of released what their investment portfolio was. I mean, they're sloshing around with so much money, they've got to put it somewhere, and they're making a big bet in other companies in similar industries, or what they perceive to be growth industries. And there was a whole bunch of companies jumping up on that news. It's really not. It doesn't feel like news anymore to me, because we know that Nvidia is investing. We know they got a bunch of money in a whole bunch of different companies. Most companies do that, right? Because you want to they're either partners or they're junior companies that you think might grow, or you want to get a stake in advance of potential future acquisitions. So I mean, I guess Serve is in play today. There's no question. It might be worth putting on your list, but again, this news probably will not carry it very far after the open. That's just my guess.
Yeah, it might be one and done for this one. One hit wonder. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, we've seen other ones like ARM and some other tickers that Nvidia has put in their stamp on. I mean, I don't know what their goal is, trying to own every robotics and technology company. Got to be
When you have
careful
that
out
much
there.
money, you got to do something with it.
Yeah, I agree. So I'll put in a secondary. I think it'll be in play today. How well is it going to trade? Who knows? But it is up 32%. Hard to borrow, so we cannot short this thing, which is usually not great, but we'll see what happens. All right, next on the list is one that we're very familiar with, is SoFi Technologies. It is up only 1.2%, 522,000 shares traded. Again, normally not a good trading ticker. Today's just barely making our list. So I'm not a big fan of this one this morning, right? So we see the trade very well today. It doesn't look that good, Peter, unless you have some kind of news that might be worth watching.
Oddly, it's the same news. Obviously, it seems like Nvidia had some regulatory filings. Out of those filings, people were picking out a number of their investments, which includes Serve Robotics and SoundHound AI. We already know that Nvidia invested in SoundHound. This is not new. Those filings revealed that they have a 10% stake in the company. So, and that stake, of course, has gone up significantly with SoundHound jumping up over the last little while, but they didn't invest anything new. So this feels like a bunch of people late to the party, and they say, what, Nvidia is buying? Let's get in. But they're not buying. They already own it. They haven't changed that stake. They're still there. They told us that, like I said, a few months ago, back in February. So SoundHound is one of those pseudo meme stocks. It's been on and off our list a lot of late. Like you said, Carlos, the price actually doesn't look good today. I think we just keep moving.
Yep, and we sure will. Let's keep moving down to DJT, which is not up by much. Tons of volume. What's up? Actually, pretty nice this morning, over at 37.43, and since then has just come slamming back down to the previous day close. So not really much happening. It's got tons of volume, 960,000. This will be fun to watch. With everything in politics going on right now, this will be fun to watch. You might get an opportunity here. You do have shares for sure. Not plenty though. You only really have 3,000. I mean, that's not a whole lot. That can be gone. I mean, as soon as the market opens, right? So, don't count on those to be there when it's time to trade. But it will be interesting to see how everything is moving in politics, how this can be affected, and if there's any opportunity here. I have yet to trade this ticker, but today will be a day I think it will be fun to watch and have on deck this morning. Another one that we know very well, and we actually something you can see around driving is a Rivian. Rivian up 2% this morning, 321,000. So remember, this thing had the big pop back in June, and then from there, it's just kind of crawling higher and higher, hitting 19, back to 17, just kind of going sideways. So I don't know how heavily this is in play today, Peter, but it is making our list again, just barely up 2% here, making it into the gappers.
Yeah, it's tough to say what's going to happen with this. It's got a little bit of news. They did beat their second quarter delivery numbers, so that was good. They released last week their delivery numbers, and they were above what was expected. Keep in mind their deliveries are quite modest. I mean, it's not like they're delivering hundreds of thousands of cars a quarter. Their numbers are a lot lower, so they beat it, yay! But it's it's we're talking thousands of cars. There was a potential deal with Volkswagen. If you're I know we talked about that a little while back, so and that certainly gave Rivian a boost, right? But Volkswagen, if we remember, has been investing in a whole bunch of different companies. They invested in some battery technology companies. They partnered with some Chinese EV companies. They the rumors of potential stakes in a number of North American smaller EV companies like Rivian. So there's a lot of sort of secondary news. I don't today, is today going to be the day was going to do something exciting? I'm not sure. I mean, look at the daily chart that we've got on the screen. That daily price action, those candles are pretty small. Price movement is within $1. So you got to sort of set the expectation. You're playing this for pennies. You're not going to get a big $3 move on this thing likely today. Maybe, but not likely.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking here. So, again, I like Rivian, and we traded before. It does trade well when it gets to volume. I just not sure what today's going to bring. So, another good secondary. I might not stay there depending on what we see when we get to the rest of this list. Plus, our usual suspects, which I don't see many of here. Never mind, Tesla's making its way right into here now with 1 million shares traded. So that's going to be fun to watch. We'll be putting that on deck shortly. Before we get there, let's talk about Hood. So Hood is down 1.8. Almost 700,000 shares traded. I do like the daily here. We're just kind of slamming into this area. This is a big level for Hood. If you notice, over June, July, we just keep slamming into this, either as resistance or as support, as we have been over the last couple of days. So we're slamming into that now. It's around 22.99. We'll call it 23. Peter, any news on Hood at the moment?
That's what I'm trying to find out right here. They did get a couple of upgrades. I mean, maybe that's what's driving it. Wolf Research is probably the bigger of the two that upgraded them, but they had upgraded them about a month ago, and it looks like they've issued another upgrade. But that doesn't normally move these things too much. I don't see a lot. I mean, there's been a boost in cryptocurrency over the weekend, and a lot of chatter about it, as even Trump has been, I guess, even he mentioned crypto and not negatively. So I guess that's something. I don't know. And Hood has, of course, been trying to expand their markets with plays in crypto. I don't know. I every time I thought, let's watch Hood. Like it should trade well. It's always let me down. So I'm a little jaded.
Yeah, it's yeah. Man, my feelings exactly. I can't even add anything else to that. So I'm gonna skip it. It's just horrible sometimes. CLSK is another one on here, but we do have plenty. We have Riot. I don't see Coin or Mara, which are usually the two that I prefer watching, opposed to Clean Spark and Riot. So we'll go to those. Mara right now, it is up 1.6, 738,000. Again, this stuff is in play with some comments from Trump that we'll get to in a second here. And then the other one is Coin. Coin was had a monster day on Friday, guys. So if you look at this here, went from 235 or 255, which is the area they were kind of banging their head up here back in early June, and now heading back up there as well. So up 1.3. It's not really making our list, but I like this one today, especially with the comments that are being made by, I don't know if it was Trump himself or his camp about him doing some regulatory stuff, Peter, on a Bitcoin.
Yeah, well, it was and a big intraday move up on the cryptocurrencies, both Bitcoin's price and then all of the related stocks, all the miners. Normally, like I've said many times, right, they move up after hours. It tends to be on the weekend and after hours. But on Friday, it actually moved up during the day. Yeah, so the comments were, I mean, they're not, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how to take any of these comments seriously. There was Trump was asked questions. I mean, look, he's on the political campaign trail. He's going to be asked questions about virtually anything a reporter can think of. He was asked some questions about cryptocurrency, and he usually says, right? You know, he loves to talk big about, I'm going to eliminate tariffs and restrictions on everything. It just happened to be this comment was on cryptocurrency. You know, will that happen? Will he actually make big changes to the way it's managed and governed? Probably not. It doesn't actually sit within the president's purview. Never stops him from commenting on things. So I just have trouble taking all this stuff seriously. But it doesn't really matter, right? What matters is how the market perceives the comments and the potential options. And cryptocurrency got a boost over the course of this weekend. As a result, we're sitting not at super all-time highs here, but crypto Bitcoin is sitting at just under $68,000 for the coin, and the miners said had this boost on Friday that looks like they've generally held through today. So could be interesting to watch this sector. Again, the problem with this is a lot of this stuff is completely dependent on what the next comment is, right? And again, with active political campaigns going on out there, you just never know. It's a crapshoot. So welcome to the political landscape of the U.S. again. This is the fun that we have to deal with, right? Where you're just, you could be trading a market that's going well, nice and smooth, and then some rally starts somewhere, or someone asks an interview question on the street, and we get a comment that starts to move things. We'll see what happens. And we got the same. Well, Carlos, you're talking about the situation in China. Like, we got a lot of moving parts in the world. Let me take a second to diverge to this. There's so much. When we were sort of talking before the show happened, and Brent, our sort of, who's coordinating things here, was mentioning this morning, I couldn't help but follow the news. There's a lot of news to follow out there, right? We've got financial activity in China. We've got political action happening in the South China Sea. We've got Russia making moves, of course, continued moves on Ukraine, and the rest of Europe starting to get a little more vocal about their concerns about that, and taking actions like active conscription that I was reading about this weekend happening in a number of European, especially the Slavic countries. Obviously, we got the political landscape in the U.S. We've got the macroeconomic climate that has got some concern with continued inflation. I mean, it's just, I feel like there's a lot happening, and it's not going to take much for the markets to start to move. But the problem is, which way? Like, there's no way to sort of manage the anticipation other than be ready, understand your trading strategies, trade when it makes sense, and don't be afraid to take a step back and sit in the sidelines and you're like, I don't understand what's happening. I don't know why the markets are moving this way. Those are high risk scenarios, because that's when things often can snap back on you, and you can either make money or lose a lot of money really quickly. And personally, I'm cautious. I like to just step back. If I don't understand what's happening and why, I will step back. But sometimes you get really clear news and you can jump in and profit from it. So, it's all about being active and being ready in your trading. And I think that's what's going to be probably our MO for the next probably 2 months. 2 to 3 months here as we head into the political climate. Then as we get right into the heart of it in the fall, right, October, November, well, man, all bets are off, right? Who knows what's going to happen between now and then? I mean, we still don't have a firm candidate to go up against Trump at this point. So, anyways, I just think it's going to be very interesting over the next little while. Could be lucrative,
Yeah.
could be highly risky to your portfolio. So just please be careful out there, everybody. I want to see you here talking with us again in October, November, as we watch and enjoy the markets.
Yep, absolutely, friends. Be careful out there. Question over in chat. They were asking, what do we use for news? So there's two places I want to point your attention to. Obviously, the first one, and we're biased because this is created by us, but we love it. It is going to be tradingterminal.com. So you can always head here. You can always check out the news calendar. The thing we keep bringing up here for earnings is going to be over on calendars. So if you come to calendars here, you can see what's coming up after hours and before hours. So that's available to you there. And then for our members in chat, man, Benzinga, these guys are a beast when it comes to news. I love the way they organize things. They're very good. You got access to this. So if you'll go over to our website, if you click on this Benzinga, if you're in the chat room, sorry about that. I'll change it here. If you're in the chat room here, click on that Benzinga logo. It's not there just to look pretty. When you click on that, it does bring you here, and then you are getting live news data. And the best thing that a lot of our members love, if you used it already, you click on the squawk and you can hear the gentleman calling out news tickers. It's like calling out a horse race, right? He's not just talking all the time. It's just like quick snippets of, hey, this is happening, that's happening, this is going on, here's the price, here's the ticker. So very quick bits of what's going on with the news. Very, very timely. So this is much timely or faster, I would say, than the actual text, right? Text has to be written down, written out. Check. This is much faster. So those are two sources. Really, really good information you can get out of those two. All right, back to our gap. Yeah, go ahead, Peter.
I was just going to say a little trick, by the way, if you want to get the most out of Trading Terminal, because sometimes it's tough to know where to go. If you can pull up that screen again, Trading Terminal, if you guys haven't used it in depth, what I like about it, like when I'm searching the news here, click on news, and sometimes you see how it says search for a ticker at the top. That's good. That'll give you a whole page. But yes, the one that Carlos just circled, right? It's sort of mid-page on the right-hand side. You can actually put multiple tickers in there. So do something, Carlos, for me, like Nvidia. So if you just start to type the ticker in there, it'll give you a search. You got it. You click on Nvidia, but don't end there, right? Go back into the box and then put something else. Like let's say you want to do that in DJT. Put something totally unrelated. Doesn't matter. Now you can get sort of in your feed that you've just customized, lists on things that have reference to both of those. You can put multiple stock tickers in there. So it allows you to sort of quickly search through multiple news articles while it's got sort of the highlight of the general news at the top. So there you go. It's a good way to stay on top of things. That's sort of typically how I use it here in the mornings.
Yeah. Excellent, guys. Again, really great tool. Take advantage of it. All right, back to our list. We did RAI, we did Bitcoin. Let's look at it. What is DB? Why is this making its way over here? DB this morning. It's not really in play. This is Dutch Bank. Usually trades very horrible. It is up 2.6, no volume. So we're just going to skip on that. Let's go straight to some fun stuff like Tesla. Tesla this morning, we are getting some good volume. We're up 2.1. Pre-market action, especially after 8 o'clock, looks very good. Look at the flow we're getting here. And 1.5 million shares traded. So Tesla will be on my list for sure. Is there any news behind this, Peter, or just overall Tesla fun stuff here?
There's not real news. Tesla's always got things going on, and there's always little snippets. So if you remember, we were talking about them having to delay their robo-taxis, but there's more talk about it because it seemed to have brought to the forefront the fact that they are developing this AI-driven robo-taxis. Of course, Elon said for a long period of time that they're investing heavy in more pure AI play as sort of a side hustle almost to Tesla's cars. They've been edging ever closer to the self-driving cars. There's a lot of sort of talk about what's going to happen to the U.S. What are the rebates, I guess, when you buy an electric car, right? What's going to happen under a new political climate, and that'll be interesting to see what goes on. No definitive answers there, by the way. Oddly, Elon has been remarkably quiet over the last week. I've been waiting for him to sort of throw his next big zinger tweet on something, but I haven't really seen much. He was talking over the course of the weekend about his one of his other little side hustle projects, his humanoid robots, which is just sort of creepy. There's a bunch of these companies that are making. Have you seen these, Carlos? Where they've tried to make like
Yeah,
these
walking
robots,
humans.
and then they're trying to give them like humanized facial expressions. And oh my god, there is nothing creepier than when they try and get a robot to smile. I'm like, please stop, please stop. Just
Yeah,
I prefer the robot with like just the digital screen face with the big robotic eyes and the pretend smile. Just keep it that way, man. Stop. Yeah, don't do
look
that.
at this.
Don't,
I'm
especially on
running
the
away
right
from her.
there. Yeah, her. Yeah, don't. No,
It
please
was
not.
scary,
Don't do
man.
that. Yeah, I.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's scary stuff.
C3PO. Let's do
I don't want
that.
that
Like
in my house.
that's
Yeah,
really what you need. Don't. Yeah. Oh my god.
yeah, yeah.
Anyways,
But
we
I'm looking
digress.
forward to that phase of of technology, right? That means no more laundry, no more this, no more that. What's what we need. Need someone to do the laundry, clean the house. That stuff is what we need here. So I'm looking forward to that, but not this. This is out of control.
Yeah.
All right, friends. Let's see
Anyways.
here. Tesla's good.
So
Adding to the list.
we were talking about Tesla, Carlos. I took us off track.
Yeah.
Anyways, and he Elon did make a comment. It was almost like a sideways comment. Oh yeah, by the way, we're going to have some of these robots, humanoid robots, in production for 2026. Now, I'll just say, okay, sure, but keep in mind, I don't think Elon has ever hit a deadline that he has
Never.
promised. So
Never.
2026. Yeah, don't go betting the house on that. But it doesn't matter. What matters is it going to move the stock potentially? Tesla doesn't really need an excuse to move, right? The Tesla fans will make it move one way or the other. This morning, we're seeing what I would call about average volume, 1.6 million shares, which is a good volume, but it's not hugely out of the ordinary. Maybe a little to the high side, but it's going to be in play. Like if you just like it, put it on your list. There's nothing like it's always moving with volume.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm going to have it on my list here, guys. 1.6 million shares traded up 2.1. Definitely will be on deck this morning. And then last but not least, it's going to be Nvidia. Nvidia also making an appearance on our gap up list, 2.2, 5.4 million shares traded. I mean, the volume is always there on Nvidia, so it's always fun to watch. And last couple of days, we've been getting some good trading out of it. So if you look at Friday, look at the drop we had on Friday. Thursday is right over here. Thursday was a little bit wild, but again, still provided you with tons of move towards the bottom, and then nice reversal back up to VWAP and almost to the high of the day. So it's got volume, it's got movement. I think we're creating a new range. Seems like the resistance over at 122 towards the bottom. We're looking at around 117.50 or so. But yeah, it looks like a new range for Nvidia here, and the volume continues to be pretty high. So gonna have them on my list here this morning as well. Peter, I don't think there's anything new in Nvidia besides them just keep buying or investing more in other stocks. Anything else going on?
No, well, I mean, there's nothing new specific on Nvidia. Last week, we have to keep in mind that we had a big sell-off in tech. Is this a chance for it to rebound, or will it continue to slide? I mean, we'll find out after the bell rings, I guess. But and of course, we got the concerns over Taiwan Semiconductor and their position out in Taiwan, of course, with China making a little more noise on that section, and Trump voicing up about how he would not defend Taiwan, right? Not engage the U.S. military to support Taiwan should there be an incursion. I mean, again, a lot of speculation. Who knows what's going to happen? Nvidia is sort of in play these days, frankly, the way Tesla's in play. It just is because it is. Like we were talking earlier, right? There's a lot of news about where Nvidia is investing money, and all those companies are moving. So you just never know where Nvidia is going to move. But it typically gets volume. What are we doing this morning? Probably about around 1 million shares. Oh, 5 million shares.
No,
My God! So it's got
5.5.
yeah, it's got some good volume here. 5.5 million. I mean, it's just been in play for months now, right? I think it will continue to be in play. Those are two that have been on my list nonstop for the last little while because you know they're going to get some price action. Whether they move in a way that we want to trade, you never know, but worth keeping an eye on.
Yep, absolutely. All right, friends. I want to just check too before I forget. Chat over on our YouTube chat gave us arms. I want to check arms as we're talking about Nvidia. This is up 2%. Again, very similar to what some probably the Nvidia stocks are doing, right? I call them Nvidia, but it's more like that AI situation. So they're up slightly. I don't see great volume. I do see that they're kind of leveling off here. So could be a fun one to watch, but I'm going to go with Nvidia today. I mean, I think their volume is awesome. And then another one before I forget is Puppet Master over on YouTube gave us Amazon. So let's look at Amazon quickly. It is gapping up 1.1 million shares traded. And Amazon, man, it continues to do this where midday it just starts either plummeting or taking off. Lately, it's been plummeting. Like if you look at the daily, it just goes on these huge sell-offs, right, out of nowhere. So yeah, I like what I'm seeing there. I might add this to my main list if I don't find anything else on the secondary now, because it's just so random when it decides to do that, Peter. It's just I don't understand the rhyme or reason. So we'll keep it on secondary.
Couple of pieces of news
got a couple
on these. Let's go back to ARM for a second. On ARM, they did get an upgrade from Morgan Stanley. Again, you guys know probably by now how much I love analysts, but yeah, Morgan Stanley upgraded them to outperform, raised their target from $107, way below the price, to $190, just above the current price. Again, yeah, thanks guys. You're a little late to the party, but all right, there you go. There's the upgrade on ARM. On Amazon, there is some news. Like you said, Amazon's a weird one. It doesn't move with the news the way you think it should. Prime days were last week. We were talking about that. And as I sort of warned you, it tends to drop off of Prime days. And look what sort of happened last week, right? Sort of toward the tail end, it did drop a little bit. Didn't do anything interesting. Like it's supposed to be its biggest sale day of the year. And the stock doesn't seem to follow that price action. Report over the weekend, though, that Bezos has had to file that he's intending to sell about $5 billion worth of stock. Keep in mind, it's Bezos. So, okay, he's selling $5 billion worth of stock, or has sold $5 billion worth of stock. This is over the first 2 weeks of July, by the way. He did sell about $5 billion, which means it brings his total holdings to only 928 million shares. He still owns 1 billion shares of the stock almost. I mean, let's calm down here a little bit, people. I personally, I look at that and say, like, he is literally just buying a new yacht, or trying to show off to his girlfriend, or like, I don't know what he's doing, but it probably means nothing in his view of the company. He's just getting some cash because he's going to Ibiza for the weekend. I don't know, but anyways, that's that was the news. Anyways, that he was selling some stock. So.
All right, there you go, man. That's what's happening. I agree with you. Amazon on my list here this morning. And again, I think it's a fun one to watch, especially if you're trading later parts of the day. In the morning, you might not get no action, but later in the day, it's just might out of nowhere just start taking off. So worth watching. All right, this gap up list, take a close look at it. It just keeps growing. So every time I look, I think I'm done. More and more and more, and now more is being added here. So we won't be able to go through all of that. We're going to jump over to our gap down list. If you guys see something here that you like, call it out, and we can always come back and look at it. But right now, let's see what's on our gap down. Leading the way, creating havoc for millions of people on Friday, and still some companies still feeling the effects of this, is CrowdStrike, right? So here down 4.8 this morning, 1 million shares traded, and these guys just continue to get slammed here. So we all know the news of what's happening here. This is costing companies a lot of money, Peter. I don't know, are these companies going to come back to CrowdStrike to pay for this? What's like their plan? I mean, it seems like a lot of people are getting affected by it.
Yeah, and Carlos, I mean, I was, sort of sitting disconnected from everything, and even I heard what was happening on Friday, even though I didn't trade with CrowdStrike. And I have to admit, I was thinking of you, Carlos, because I was thinking Carlos is definitely asking who's getting fired, and somebody should be. So, somebody like, let's push out this update, and then they went, crap. Now we have a
someone's getting fired.
Yeah, somebody. I am like 100% certain that somebody got fired. This
is pretty bad. I know personally, out of just my small circle, my immediate family, my dad got affected on this. And also my brother, if I remember, you were not here on Friday, but he's traveling down. He was here for 2 weeks and heading back down to Florida, and he was stopping by in North Carolina. I forget which state. Into the Marriott. The Marriott could not check him in, so it was messy, and it was
Well,
because of this issue.
and what's amazing
So
to me is one of the things in IT that, I mean, I'm sure it hasn't changed. I've been out of the industry for a little while, but you always have a backup plan, right? So in theory, every time you push an
mhm,
upgrade, there should be a backup plan where you can reverse it and go back to the previous version in case there's a problem. I have never in my professional career ever seen a backup plan that works. Like it's never as easy all the time, right? You're like, yeah, we'll go back if it works, but you don't actually think it's not going to work, and the backup plan never works. It usually causes more problems than anything, or you most of the time decide not to invoke it because it's just too damn complicated. And
yeah,
I just
yeah.
I was sitting there this weekend thinking, yeah, somebody promised it's all good and we have a backup plan, and they pushed it out and they're like, yeah, well, we can't really because, and then all the excuses came in. So I was thinking, thank God I don't have to deal with this and I'm not in IT anywhere. So, but yeah, this is going to continue to plague CrowdStrike for a little while. I think we're going to see this, hurt them probably for the next couple of quarters. Frankly, it'll calm
Oh yeah.
down right after this is behind us and all the computers are working again. But I'm willing to bet we're going to see reduced revenues. They're going to have to call off their forecasts. They're going to lose customers. Like I think it's going to have cascading issues. It doesn't matter whether this could happen to anybody and it was a one-time thing. Inevitably you start to see that their sales pipeline is going to dwindle. Like if nothing else, just think if you were a corporate executive, right, and you were evaluating a number of partners to say we're in the market for a new cybersecurity, protection partner. Are you really going to tell your CEO, you know who I want to hire? I want to hire CrowdStrike. Because that CEO, there's no way
Mm-mm.
they're going to talk to their board
No
and
way.
say, yeah, like I know they had some problems, but I'm 100% behind them. No way, man. You're going with the safer bet. So there's going to be problems for them. So I think CrowdStrike's going to be in play for a little while.
Yeah, yeah. So that is craziness. Tennessee girl over on YouTube saying her family's still stuck in Greece because of this. So yeah, it's pretty bad. It's pretty
Wow.
bad. So
There you go. Someone
this is
live
the
and
company.
trapped.
This is the type of company, Peter, that you don't want to know it ever exists, right? Like CrowdStrike. When I was talking to people about it, what's CrowdStrike? They call me, what's going on with CrowdStrike? What is this? I'm like, is it a hack? Like, listen, this is a company you never want to know the name, just want to be in the background. The fact that people know their name now is not because of this
Yeah.
situation. So
So,
on
and it
my
might be
list
worth
today,
watching
tons of
the
volume
airlines,
on it.
by the way. So, one of our members stuck in Greece. Sorry about that. Sorry to hear you there. But thanks for joining us. I guess you got not much else to do, right? You're sitting in a hotel somewhere. But yeah, Delta this morning announced that their CEO announced that they had to cancel another 600 flights, and they're still struggling to get their systems back online. So it might be worth watching the airlines this morning because they're definitely being affected. Delta directly. We know that United and American also had big issues. I mean, I'm sure international airlines are also having troubles. They are highly dependent, of course, on their computerized systems, which are archaic to say the least. So
Yeah.
they're definitely going to be taken down.
You know who's taking advantage of this? Now, believe it or not, Spirit Airlines. So I was trying to rebook my dad on a different airline. Spirit Airlines had a ticket for like 250 something to go to West Palm. Normally that flies like 150. So nice for them to make a buck out of this. So it looks like JetBlue and Spirit Airlines don't use a Microsoft system because
So
they're running just fine.
yeah,
Um,
are you actually advocating flying Spirit? Is that what you're suggesting?
No, I'd rather I put him on another
No.
one this morning. Didn't put him on that. I
Yeah,
don't care if the system is working. Yeah, system is working, but you might not make it there, or your bags won't make it there. That's for sure.
yeah,
So no, not
yeah.
advocating that. All right,
I like how,
friends.
yeah,
Yeah,
careful on that. Anyways, someone was commenting, "Hey, Greece is not a bad place to be stuck in." I would say Greece, if you
agree.
were actually just in the countryside of Greece, that'd be great. But you're probably sitting at the Athens airport, which is not a great place to be stuck in. So just to be clear, I've been there. Athens is not a pretty city. Anyways, if you're Greek, my apologies, but it's not. The Greek countryside, absolutely amazing. Athens
Yeah,
needs some work, man. It's,
yeah,
but
yeah.
anyways,
Usually the case with some places. All right, let's take a look at Meta. Meta, you guys mentioned Meta quite a bit. It is up here 2.192 at the moment. So it's got some volume. But again, you can't judge the pre-market too hard on Meta. I do like the way it's been trading over the last couple of days. I'm going to add it on here. Looking at that one just because a lot of you guys are mentioning over on YouTube and also in our main chat. So we'll add it to the list for now. Let's not forget about Verizon. Verizon is on here right now. It's down 4%. And this is probably the best, prettiest pre-market action you've seen on Verizon ever. The stock is horrible, but today is their day, Peter. They're shining this morning. Not in a good way, but they're moving here somewhat.
Yeah, so Verizon had earnings this morning, and not really, not a big bad picture, really. They missed on revenue, but they beat on their bottom line earnings. Didn't really talk about their forecast. Pretty light, sort of earnings announcement, all told. Their subscribers were up, so that's good news. That's often a number that's looked for. If their subscribers were down, you would see this dropping a lot more than it has. So it's just sort of a mild drop. I think it might actually be in play this morning, though. I don't mind the pre-market action here. We're sitting just under 1 million shares, but that's what you would expect. It is a NYSE stock, which means it trades a little different. I will probably be watching it this morning just to see what it does for a rising devil type play. But again, NYSE stock, which means you got to wait for the volume because that doesn't always happen right at 9:30. You got to look for that big volume candle. That might be 1 or 2 or 5 minutes after the open. I'll be looking for that and see what happens. May or may not get a trade on it. That's why I watch it. So we'll see.
Yeah. Today, definitely on my list. This is a big drop for them, down 4.5. I like the way that looks this morning. All right, let's stop here. One more that just came up in our gappers list. Oh, here it is. We're waiting for this just to bring out the garbage truck. Look at this. WIT made our gappers list, but this is pure garbage. So we'll just roll the truck on that one. There it is. Brent, I like the truck, but I think we need to make it bigger. I really want to feel the size of this garbage. Yeah. Well, it's got to be bigger than that. This smells so much like garbage. We gotta really stick it to it. So yeah,
I'll bring it back to full screen.
Bring it back to it. Let's slap us in the face with this. Okay. All right. So we'll leave that one alone. Peter, before we jump to members and YouTube, anything else you like?
I got nothing we haven't talked about. So when you see my list, it'll be a bunch of familiar candidates. Certainly Nvidia and Tesla, we've already talked about. I said I'll be keeping an eye on Verizon just to see what it does. And yeah, let's see how the open takes us. Nothing new.
Oh, all right, excellent. Let's look in chat. I know we called out a few already. Which tab is the Benzinga tab, Hector? If you look up here over on the top, it says Benzinga. So that logo, just click on that. That's going to take you over to this Benzinga news thing here. So you can get all the information you need right on there. So click on that Benzinga logo at the top. All right, perfect, friends. Let's go in our chat room and see what you guys like this morning. And I'm also looking at the YouTube tab. I know we looked at a few already. Anything else, friends? Meta is on deck. I like them this morning. Don't fly Spirit Airlines. Absolutely. Don't do that. Let's see here. Nothing else over on our chat. How about our YouTube? YouTube CrowdStrike is on deck today. Absolutely. I think that's gonna be it's gonna be messy. So we'll see. Eventually, we'll get to a point where there's some value and it can start bouncing. So don't, if you get in a position, don't be biased that it has to go down or that it has to come up because it's too low. Just play the price action. But it will be messy. I think there's some more blood that needs to come out of that still. Amazon on my list. That's good. Over on YouTube, MU by our good buddy Heath. Let's check MU today. MU is it's got some volume. 1.1 million shares trade the last couple of days. Been selling off pretty nicely here. I'm not sure. It could be interesting. I like the fact that it's not holding like Nvidia and some other ones are, right? Nvidia's got his level here going on. So his kind of his range. MU just keeps dropping. So I'm not sure what's driving that. But yeah, worth keeping an eye on to see what it means for them today. Let's look at Intel and Mara, and then we'll call it, and we'll head over to community events and announcement for the next 2 weeks, especially this week coming up. So Intel, big sell-off on Friday. Today, they're pretty flat. I think we got to wait for the market open to see what this is going to bring to us. I won't add it to my list just because I'm so heavy on tech. I usually am. Nvidia, I got on here. I got MU, I got a Tesla. So I'm going to keep these guys off, and we have not even looked at AMD. But I'm sure Peter will be watching that. We can always piggyback off if he sees anything, he'll call it out. Mara is up 2%. I got Bitcoin on here. I'm sorry, not Bitcoin. I got coin. but both of them are in play today, right? With comments from the Trump camp about them making some comments in there. I think they got some conference coming up, Bitcoin conference coming up. When is it? Sometime this week. I gotta look that up. But there's a Bitcoin conference, and then they're announcing some Bitcoin reserve or something. So some stuff happening. I gotta read through that news article. I just kind of read the headline. But yeah, friends, there it is. Let's head over to our community events and announcements. We'll come back and do some levels for this list and get ready for our market open.
It still amuses me whenever cryptocurrency does all of the standard things. The whole point is it's not standard. It doesn't follow the conventions, but then they have like a conference. Like that should not be a thing. Anyways, never mind. I got a rant in there somewhere. Oh my god, I got some allergies going on here the last day or something. I'm all like stuffed up. I don't know why
It's
that
the
is.
air quality, man. The air quality is
Is
crap.
that?
I'm feeling the same way, especially the last 2 days. I've been like just coughing and sneezing. I don't know what the heck is going on. I was perfectly fine. So something with the air quality, man. So this humidity, it's driving us nuts.
Yeah, could be. All right. We're going to talk about what's happening in the community. It's Monday today, which means that we've got a whole week of activities ahead of us. Let's quickly go over it so you understand what we've got. We start tonight with our onboarding class. Our onboarding class is a great opportunity for new members or those who just want a refresher to understand all that you can get from the Bearable Trading community. It's also sort of an intro to trading. If you're new to trading altogether, you might want to join that class because it'll give you a feel for sort of how you can get started, how you can configure things, some base strategies. We cover a lot of ground in that. So that will be tonight at 8 o'clock. But we have a special session for you today, the second edition. And Brandon's improving these, working on them. So today at noon, we've got Brandon talking about DAS Trader Pro. He's got a set of activities that he's going to be focusing on today, and going to take you over some specific setup items for your education. So that's at 12 o'clock. Both of those will be in the classroom. We started those in a different spot last week, but they'll be in the classroom, which means all members, irrespective of your the category of your membership, will be able to attend them, right? So that's at noon and 8 o'clock today. Tomorrow on Tuesday, it's always strategy and trade book sessions. We're going to have Joe with us, a new presenter who's going to be talking about how you can keep consistent weekly income by using options. So this is an options focused class that's at 8 o'clock tomorrow night in the webinar room. That's for our elite members. And then the week after, Brent, I won't even try and say Brent's last name. Brent. Anyways, I'm gonna mess it up, so I won't do that. But it'll be next Thursday, July the 20th. Wait, I got a problem with the dates here. What's going on? No, it's not Thursday. We got one on Thursday. I'm all confused. All right, we'll figure that out. Yeah, it's wrestling. Brent Kombucha. That's what I want to say, but I know that's not right. So, but anyway, maybe this is Thursday. Have we got it like Tuesday and Thursday? Oh, Mike is saying yes. Okay, so we got two this week. Two strategy. We got one on Tuesday and then another one on Thursday where Brent's going to be presenting options. So it's like options week this week. Cool. So we've got two options presentations. Put those in your calendar if you're interested in options. One coming tomorrow night, one coming on Thursday, both at 8 o'clock Eastern time. Wednesday, we normally talk about trade book. Wednesdays, we normally talk about psychology. And this Wednesday, we've got Randy Howell back with us talking about how you can master your mindset through the uncertainty of trading. That'll be Wednesday the 24th at 8 p.m. And then next week, Carlos, you the man, you yourself will be taking the lead and talking about a trading mindset. How do you set up a support network? That'll be the last day of July 31st at 8 p.m. So put those in your calendar. Thursdays every week, we always have our mentorship sessions. They're a great chance to ask your questions, sort of get sort of information that you need to help improve your trading. We have 4 sessions for you every week, starting at 11 a.m. on Thursday with John. Then we go to Jared and Megan, options focused at 2 p.m. Lenny does one that's back on equities at 4 o'clock, and then Thor closes out the day at 8 p.m. So that's our lineup for the week. And we've got stuff happen for you pretty much every day now through Thursday. So hopefully you will attend those. As we mentioned earlier, tradingterminal.com is a great place to go to get all of your news and information. Hopefully you will check it out, and you will go and get all the data that you need, including the scanners, by the way, that we use here to get our gappers list in the morning. You can also use throughout the day to help give you the insight as to what's moving and what's most active. All right, Carlos, I know we're running a little behind. We got to get some levels set, look at our moderators list, and get ready for this open, which is coming up in just over 10 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's jump right in, guys. Before we do so over on YouTube, slam that thumbs up. We're sitting at 153. We'd love to be closer to 300. That is our minimum not benchmark, like our, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like the target. Yeah, the minimum target we want to get on this show. So appreciate your help in doing so. Let's do some levels. Coin, Tesla, Nvidia, CrowdStrike, and Meta are the ones we need here. So let's start with Coin. Coin this morning and Mara both are very active. Coin is up slightly this morning. 1.3 million shares traded, 437,000. So that looks good. 263.03 is the high of the pre-market here, and you can see that's been an area where you got a lot of resistance in the past, and from there we got a rejection, went all the way down to 210. We bounced from 210 over to 263 in the last couple of days, so doing good there. Towards the top, we have some more. We'll have to go back to that February, April time frame. So in March, actually, 271 over here, and then we will have another one all the way up here at 283. Let's see how that continues. Again, a lot of talks on Bitcoin and some conference coming up where they can get some positive news. Towards the bottom, we do have low of the pre-market, 256. And once you do that, you're pretty set. With that, you can look at Riot, you can look at Mara. They're all on deck this morning. They're all in our gappers list. If you look at our gappers list, Clean Spark, Riot, Hood, which is heavily Bitcoin ticker as well. They're all here this morning. Looking at Tesla, Tesla's daily looks awesome. It's been trading somewhat decent. Volume is okay today, 1.18 million shares, 244.43 is the high of the pre-market. I think all we need to mark down is the low of the pre-market, down at 241.30. And once you do that, if you focus in on the daily, you're pretty much set here, guys. Highs and lows doing the job for you. Do not need to do anything else there. So we'll go straight to Nvidia. Nvidia, good pre-market action, guys. 6 million shares traded. High of the pre-market, 120.70. Towards the top, I'm not going to worry too much. Highs and lows for the last two trading days, doing a pretty good job there. And you also have this new range that we're creating on Nvidia, right? So we've been here before. We can see here back in June, we hung out here for a couple of days before we actually broke out. Hung out here again, not for that long, end of June, and we're back here now, middle of July. So low of the pre-market on this one is going to be 118.81. So we'll slam a level there, and then towards the bottom, you do have the highs and lows for the last two trading days. So I don't think you need to add anything else on this one. You're pretty set when it comes to Nvidia. CrowdStrike making a new low. This thing is struggling. It's going to have a hard time, I think, here in the next couple of days. Low of the pre-market right now. Actually, I still want to mark this level here. This 288. So I'm still going to mark that there, and we'll see if this can continue to head lower. You had good bounce here. Tried to hold on to it. Now lost it. Let's see what the new low looks like in a couple of minutes. High of the pre-market at the moment is hanging out at 301.85. So we'll put one there. And then if you look to the left here, that level that we're holding on to now, this is why I want to keep that mark on here. If you see that 288, that has been an area where we've seen a lot of flirting going on in the past. We see April here, support, a little bit of resistance, huge support here. This is big support. Look at this drop. This gap down went all the way down to 288 and bounced from there. I know it might be small to see, but right over here, you can see that area there. So 288.21, you definitely want to have that there. If we do lose that, 280 is going to be the next area where we want to put a level in. Towards the top, highs and lows for the last two trading days. There is an area here that I think is worth marking down on the daily. Is 296. There's a lot of touches here, right here, and here. So a lot of touches on that 296.71. That is worth noting down. 7 minutes to the market open. We'll do Meta. Then we'll see what our moderators are looking at. Then we get into our live trading, friends. So stick around as we go into live trading this morning and take you through the market open. Meta today. Again, not a sexy pre-market activity. It usually isn't. But market open, it can give you some pretty nice moves if the volume comes in. 497 towards the top is a good level. Above that, we do have 510 as well. Right now, the pre-market high slamming into the high from Friday's trading. So right on there, you see that there. And then highs and lows for the last 2 trading days got you covered. Do not need to add anything else. Don't make this more complicated than what it needs to be. The cleaner and more simpler your charts are, usually the better it is for you to make a decision. So keep it that way. All right, let's head over to our moderators list and see what we have going on there, Peter.
Yeah, well, you can see our moderators list starting to come in here, especially if you're a member in the room. They're up there in the alerts, and we got lots. Everybody's watching a big list of different stocks. I'm going to start with Thor, who's watching Apple and Tesla, and of course his futures contracts. Eamon's got 2 potential longs. He doesn't always have things that are targeted, but he's got 2 here with AMG and MGM. MGM is one that we haven't talked about this morning, but Eamon's got a different strategy and he's looking for different things. So he sees something in it that's potentially a long trade for him. Susan is going to be watching Apple, AMD, Tesla. And her secondary list has got Costco, another one we haven't talked about today, and TSM. So interesting list for Susan. Mike is going to be looking at Apple, Nvidia, and Tesla. So 3 pretty common ones that we have looked at there that he's going to see if they give him some price action that he can trade. Pierre is going to be watching Nvidia, Tesla, Mara, and Apple. Megan is going to be looking at ARM and Rivian. So a short list for her, and she's going to be very focused. My list is a little longer. I'm going to be watching AMD, Nvidia, and Tesla. My secondary list, we're going to see if I get any action out of Verizon, CrowdStrike, and maybe that's just because I feel like I missed out on it on Friday, and Amazon. Amazon made some moves as well that I just want to see if it continues through the open this morning. Jared's going to be watching Coin and Tesla with a secondary eye on Adobe, another one we haven't talked about, CrowdStrike and AMD. Oh my goodness, we got more in here. Brandon is going to be watching AMD, Nvidia, MU, and Tesla. MU came up just briefly a second ago. Paris, back in action, baby. Paris is back with us. We missed him. Hopefully he had a good break and a lot of fun while he was off. He's going to be watching CrowdStrike, Nvidia, Tesla, MU, and Verizon, VZ today. Brian is going to be watching Nvidia, Tesla, AMD, Meta, and Mara. And last but not least, we've got Phil coming in with his list watching Nvidia, Apple, Tesla, Rivian, and Amazon. With that, we have just over 3 minutes until the market open. We're going to hand it over to our live traders who are going to be taking us through the open. Brian is going to be leading the way. I think Brian's out there. He's been posting in the room and probably all ready to go as usual.
Yeah. So Brian will be trading live with us this morning. We'll see when he tags in over here. All right, as we wait for that, guys, 3 minutes to the market open. We're looking at Coin, Tesla, Nvidia, CrowdStrike, and Meta. Look at CrowdStrike. What a nice drop here. So new low on CrowdStrike, guys, 284. So we're kind of getting that volatility before the market open here. Again, just more and more weakness. Down 7% now. So we'll see how this thing reacts here. All right, friends. Okay, I see Brian is logging in. He cannot hear us, I think, or we can't hear him. But good morning, Brian. How you doing? Yep. All right. I think he said he's doing well. I try to read his lips, but we'll tune into Brian to get him ready to go. And guys, trade safe. We'll talk to you guys in a bit.
Trade smart, everybody.
Good morning, everyone. Hope everyone's having a good day so far. Good weekend. CrowdStrike really taking another hit here as we continue to have problems getting things corrected. I guess they're saying that some of the problems are going to have to use IT people to come in and fix the issue versus just another patch. So lots of lots of challenges continuing. And there's my screen in case you want to watch. Just looking at CrowdStrike right now. Meta was kind of interesting. Broke out from Friday's high and now pulling back. AMD, Nvidia pulling back a bit right now. Sometimes it's hard to trade these opens where everything gaps up. So we'll have to wait to see what direction we start to take here on the market. But on CrowdStrike, I was looking at somewhere around 280 when there's some level back here, 279, sort of 30 area. Tesla looking a little bit strong. Nvidia kind of choppy right now. Same with AMD or Apple. Pushing the pad, they're pushing out the patch. Okay. Well, here we go, guys. CrowdStrike dropping. Wow, man. Watch for a bit of a bounce on CrowdStrike. We'll see what happens here. Meta is pushing a little bit. CRWD. Again, big drop here. I get a feeling it's going to find a bottom somewhere here. Meta's breaking out. Q's and SPY are dropping a little bit. Okay, I shorted a bit of CrowdStrike there at 281.70. Just sort of a rising devil trade. Let's see what it does here. It's really extended to the downside. So we're sort of on our second day of down, so I'm not really 100%. Just a very small size right now. Hard to say where this is going to go. There we go. So I'm just going to cover some here at 279. Ooh, got a good fill, 278.20. All right, this is like I said, this was I didn't have this on my watch list, but I just ended up watching it right from the get-go. So again, sort of a rising devil trade. Just I pop up a little bit at the open and then the opportunity to short. AMD's really selling off here. And crowd is still under a lot of pressure right now. Yeah, Tesla popped up. I'm just a little bit concerned about doing anything with some of these stocks that are popping. I'm out of a large portion of my crowd, so see what it does here. If it gets back to 282, I'm just going to bail on it. In fact, I think I'm just going to bail now. Kind of looks like it's going to try to rally here a bit, maybe. Okay, I'm out of that. Mara really pulled back, went red on the day. Meta tried to break out, couldn't. All right, just looking for another opportunity here. Yeah, Tesla looks kind of interesting here. It's above the view app. Let's see what it looks like. Big order at 247, 248. I'm long Tesla. Not a great entry, but I think it's going to go higher here. Here we go. There we go. 247. Just sold some there. 247. Coin is bouncing. Mara's bouncing. I'm looking for 248 now on Tesla. All right. Still looking for a move higher on Tesla. Some big orders there, 247.50 and 248 still. We do have a level here at 247.60, call it 247.70. Here we go. Just I'm going to sell some more here at 247.75. Nvidia is breaking out right now. SPY is high of day. Nice Aria, along with me. Here we go. That's what we wanted to see. 248. Selling some more there. There's an order at 249. I wouldn't be surprised to see us go to 250 here. What is yes? Friday's high was 249.40 ish, 249.30. All right, waiting at 249 here now. Gonna break it. Come on, baby. There we go. 249 filled. 249.06. Got a nice fill there. Okay, careful here. We are gonna get into an area where we're just at Friday's high. Should see a pullback. Q's bounced back. Big order here in 250. All right.
Good morning, Brian.
Hey, good morning. What's going on?
You're very lonely out here, so I thought I would jump on for a few minutes before I hop over to a meeting. So
There you are.
here I am. Good morning.
Are you wearing sweats? Like I thought
Yeah, I'm actually wearing a tracksuit right now. I wasn't
Okay.
planning to be on here, so you know what? You get me in my tracksuit.
Okay, well, I'm just surprised because I thought it was like 120 Fahrenheit there. So,
Yeah, but the AC is on, so
okay, well, there you go. Crank up the AC and put some clothes on.
That's right. That's right. All right. So you took Crowd. Are you still in Crowd?
No, I got out of that. I just
Okay.
it sort of played it as a rising devil. It was, it was a nice sort of pop and drop. But then it looked like it was finding a bottom here. Ooh, but it's still hanging around this 280 level. So
Yeah, I think Crowd has room to continue dropping. I almost put that on my list this morning, but um, I just didn't at the last minute. But I do think that as far as the bigger picture goes, I do think it has some room to keep going. Um,
hmm.
I just bought some. They're pretty far out, but I just bought some Rivian calls for October. They've got earnings in August, and there's a lot of volume that's been building down here since last June. So I'm thinking Rivian could get a decent move, but I'm giving it a few months to get there. So I'm doing kind of a longer term swing on Rivian. ARM is interesting. I think ARM could be something interesting. They just kind of upgrade, I think, and they're in a good area for some trades. Maybe a break of high today could get some movement on ARM. Are you in anything right now?
Yeah, Tesla 250
Nice.
right now. So pretty much eating up all my shares. So that's it.
Tesla's got some good juice this morning.
Yeah, Tesla was a really awesome trade. That was the winner. Winner, chicken dinner.
Yeah, winner, chicken dinner.
So what's your meeting? I missed that.
Oh, I have a mentee in about 20 minutes, so gonna go get ready for that.
Oh, okay, it's not a BBT
So
thing.
a one-on-one. Yeah, no, I'm traveling this week, so I'm stacking a lot of stuff early in the morning right now, so I can get all my meetings in throughout the day.
Yeah, I saw that. You're going to see the parental units.
The in-laws, yeah, at the lake house.
Okay.
That'll be fun. Some wakeboarding and paddleboarding.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
so I'm just like I said, I'm flat right now. I had a nice trade on, got a really nice trade on Tesla, and I'm watching AMD. It looks like it might want to go to 155, but it's stalling at R4 here.
Yeah, the semis they're getting juice. Nvidia is looking pretty strong right now.
Yeah, it is breaking out.
Yeah, it's got some really large orders at 122, like super stacked right now. See how it does there.
SPY kind of broke and hit yesterday, or Friday's high, I should say. Same with the Qs. Now we're pulling back a bit.
Tesla's running right into an area of previous supply that it's really been struggling in around the 250 area. Looking at might get a little choppy up here. But so far strong today. Tesla's got earnings tomorrow, so I'm sure the contracts on that are expensive today. I haven't even looked.
Yeah, that's right. It's reporting tomorrow. We've got Alphabet reporting tomorrow as well. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, the contracts on Tesla are pretty pricey today. The 250s right now are going for $11.50. So we're looking at over $1,000 per contract. So this is for anybody that's newer to options. Just be careful earnings season as we get into earnings season if you're new to options, because you're going to be paying a higher premium typically as we get into earnings as the volatility starts to increase. So keep that in mind. And if you're on the wrong side of it, that volatility crush can be super painful for you. So keep an eye on your contract prices during earnings season.
Yeah, there goes AMD through 155. I think Brandon's in on that one. Nice. Yeah, I just played that through a quick one through 155 there. So it's going to be interesting to see what we get for earnings. Mara's kind of looking like it's testing PDC. So quick squelp on AMD. Qs are testing Friday's high again. Nvidia is continuing to push higher here. Kudos to people that got into Nvidia. There was just too many trade opportunities this morning. We've got lots of orders, like you said, up to the upside. 122. We had a lot of orders. Now we've got big orders at 123.
AMD is still pushing here. AMD though is about to run into an interesting area. But yeah, the semis are really strong today.
Yeah. Got a gap fill at 124.58 on Nvidia.
Interesting. I'm tempted to put ARM on for a swing. It's really looking like it wants to hold this area down here. I was looking at it on Friday, but it just chopped around all day, and the risk to reward on it was really kind of too wide for me. But ARM's interesting. I think even for a day trade right now, it's starting to break highs. So keep an eye on ARM, guys. What does the level 2 look like on it? Nothing exciting, but we're kind of in really interesting place on the daily chart, I'll just say, for ARM. And that upgrade might help it out.
Okay, the Qs are breaking out here. I think last week we got kind of really selling was pretty strong. And I think we got right into some areas of daily support on a lot of stocks here. So probably getting a good bounce today.
Definitely. Wow, look at AMD go. Brandon, congrats if you're still in that.
Yeah, nice one.
Nice.
Just, sitting here with a bit of Nvidia, just seeing if we can go through 123, which we did. It's going to continue to hold some here. May get a pullback, and we may not. Yeah, everything is just on a tear today. Look at Tesla broke out. And Qs are breaking out. Crowds really just
struggling.
Yeah. I think there's a trade here in crowd. I think there's an options trade here, but gotta let the dust settle on this thing, because there's going to be obviously a lot of selling and maybe an overreaction to the downside is what I'm counting on.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of surprising. Mara's going the opposite direction. The market.
Yes, I see that. Yeah. Is Riot doing? Riot's doing that too. Coin also.
what's going on with Bitcoin today, because it was on a real tear on the weekend. Trading terminal. Yeah, Bitcoin's really down quite a bit. Sold off. Well, it's not down. It's not quite a bit. It was 68,000. Now it's down about $700 today.
Yeah, it's not like terribly down, but
no,
the miners are definitely struggling a bit.
I think it might have something to do with maybe there's actually going to be it's questionable now whether Trump's a shoo-in with by stepping out of the race. So maybe a little bit of profit taking there, because I think that whole pop on Bitcoin was kind of what they called a Trump trade, because he's seems to be favorable to Bitcoin. So maybe that's what that is.
Interesting.
Nice, Leroy. Way to go. Get some good money on AMD.
Nice. Yeah, congrats to all of you guys that played the semis today. Those really took off.
You could have just about longed anything that had to do with tech. AMD was up, Nvidia ran up, Meta ran up.
Anything Tesla. But CrowdStrike.
Yeah, anything but CrowdStrike. Yeah, exactly.
And Netflix, Jayton. Yeah, I haven't looked at Netflix since earnings last week. Yeah, the problem with Netflix is it's just stuck between an area of supply and demand. They're too close together, so it's having problems expanding one way or the other, which can just really cause like a lot of choppiness on the stock itself. So it might be a while before this actually gets moving.
It had a really interesting price action after its earnings. I mean, and they put up some decent numbers. I mean, I think subscriber growth was good. Sort of beat just a little bit on the top side, but yeah, they gapped up and then really went from a green day to a red day in a serious way. Not exactly a great price action for the bulls. I'm going to be watching Netflix for a possible options trade, maybe tomorrow.
What kind?
I might look to sell some puts or sell some calls.
Nice.
Like you could sell the 675, since that was kind of, and I don't know what kind of premium I get for that, but 679 was kind of high of day on Friday.
675.
And then it seems to be holding this 630 level. So
it looks like right now the 675s, at least for this week, you'd probably get about maybe $1 out of.
Right. Just going to let it, I want to let it settle out. I usually like to wait 2 or 3 days before I'm doing after earnings call. Sort of let the dust settle. It's sort of a balancing act between not waiting too long because there's still a pretty high level of implied volatility. But if you wait kind of too long, then that drops off.
Right.
So it kind of has to be worth my while to do that, to take that risk.
Yeah, that makes sense. Makes sense. All right. Unfortunately, I have to hop off. I just remembered, not only do I have a meeting, but I trapped a cricket in the living room, and I need to make sure that because I was in the middle of making coffee when I saw it. So I got to get the cricket out before the dogs get up and knock the cup over.
Okay, well, there you go.
Hopefully someone else can join you. Enjoy the rest of your morning, Brian. Bye,
Thanks.
everybody.
At least it's not a scorpion.
Oh, thank God. Bye.
All right, Megan's off trapping crickets. She is a cook, and apparently crickets are a thing now. You can eat them. They're kind of crunchy. Tastes like chicken. Yeah, we got they're high protein. Yeah, delicacy in Mexico for sure.
I think you need more than one to make a meal, though.
Depends. I hear they grow those crickets pretty big in Palm Desert. So
yeah, that would be frightening if you had a cricket big enough to make a meal out of.
Big enough to make a meal.
Yeah, she's going in there to like physically wrestle it to the ground and hog tie it.
Yeah. She needs a tennis racket to take it down.
Well, Brian, you had a couple good trades this morning. Congratulations. Well done. Thought I'd join you since no one else was here. I've only got one trade. I just couldn't do crowd. The spread it was too scary. Huge spread at the open as it was bouncing like $2 at a time. But I was looking at Rising Devil trades on both Crowd and Verizon. So I went with the boring Verizon. Sitting in that, Rising Devil for the win, man. Had my stop just above 40. Gone in at 39.82 or something like that, and just riding it short. Pretty boring, but you know what? I'll take boring and winning every single day.
For sure.
So yeah.
Good deal. No, I that's why I had to, when I did play crowd, I just took a small size on it.
Yeah.
Just because it was because the spread was not, like you said, it wasn't ideal, and it was jumping around a lot. So
well, and you had the read on it. I mean, it definitely did what you were expecting. In fact, it did look like it was going to show a little bit of strength, but clearly that's waned, and it's now down here, dropping further.
It just wasn't as clean as I was looking for another breakdown, and then it looked, because it's already traded down significantly on the previous day, so I kind of that's sort of not an ideal setup for a Rising Devil. You like to have that, the first move day is a better move. So anyway, yeah, but Tesla was a decent trade. Like I was saying, you could have just taken any trade here this morning, as if you were looking at any of these gappers. AMD, Tesla, Nvidia, they all moved up nicely. It looks like Nvidia is kind of losing it a little bit here. Let's see if maybe coming down to the View app.
Oh, Brendan's got a couple of trades in on the semis. Yeah, everybody that took those, if you showed a little patience, you got the rise on Nvidia and AMD. Looks like Andrew's out there somewhere. He's just said hello. So, hey, Andrew. What I didn't see is, there he is. Did you successfully complete your climb, Andrew?
Good morning. Good morning. No, actually, we couldn't summit. So it was, we tried twice, but the weather was bad, so we couldn't summit. But we went just, 100 feet below the summit. So it was kind of cool. And I'm sorry, I got really late last night from the airport. It was all delayed after the airport, and everything was still there. So
I'm impressed you got back with the outages, because it seems like the outages and the airline delays have been pretty bad.
Yeah, it was pretty bad, and still they had this trickle down to the other flights. Like for example, our flights was missing a flight attendants because of the previous delay, so it got delayed because of that. So it was kind of chaotic, but it wasn't that bad. So eventually I got home late. So I'm long Tesla. I mean, there was a great move on Tesla at the open. I wish I was waking up a little bit earlier. That was such an amazing opening range breakout.
Yeah, I got that. That was the one I traded. I got it for you.
It's unbelievable, yeah. So I got the long. I went long. I'm sharing my screen as well, guys. So I'm actually went long on this pullback at 249. It's not quite 920, but I thought that maybe this pullback on 1 minute chart can break. We'll see how it goes. Doesn't look great. Yeah, it's same as Nvidia. Nvidia also looks like that's bouncing through these moving averages. But yeah, that was a great opening range breakout for both of them, Nvidia and Tesla.
Well,
I'm
yeah,
glad
and AMD was pretty good too. Meta was pretty decent after a little bit of a pullback.
So let's see if Tesla can break up high of the day. I'm long at 249. I added 250. If it goes up toward the high of the day, I might add more at 251. Let's see if it wants to go to high of the day or not. Nvidia could be potential 920 if it comes down to 122. 920
Yeah.
is
kind of watching it right now. So they're really trying to hold it at the 9 EMA. And no positions for me right now. Looks like AMD is right at previous day high.
all right. Let's see if Tesla can actually go toward the high of the day again. SPY is really rolling over. Don did a very nice trade on the AMD. Such a nice. Then you got to work out on your partials. It seems that you partial way too early. The AMD trade was nice, but the partials.
Yeah, the Qs are kind of back at the VWAP. Just trying a little bit of a 920 here on Nvidia.
Yeah, so 122, and that's a good.
121.95 entry here. So let's just see where we get a bounce. There are some big orders here. 123.
Tesla survives this pullback or not.
Okay, I'm gonna take a partial here at 122.28. This is 920. This is my trade book. So we take a partial back at the 9. And now we wait for the next level, which will be 123. Stop is
The options would be amazing too. Did you do it with shares? Because you can do it with the call options too.
Yeah, I know I can. I'm doing it with shares. I don't usually trade options until things settle down a little bit more, get into trends.
But really toppy. Netflix. When is Tesla's earning is to the this week? Yes.
Yeah, it's after the market close tomorrow. Okay, I'm getting out of the rest of Nvidia just because it's my break even. So it's the way I trade these 920s. We didn't break through the 9, so it might come down to the VWAP now, which is sort of 121, sort of 60 area.
Down another 12%.
SPY is really rolled over. Yeah, Mara's really had a bit of a dump here.
What do you think about trading CrowdStrike, CRWD? This one was because of issues in the airports and stuff, but that is really selling off really bad. What about selling puts on it?
That's exactly what I'm thinking about with CrowdStrike, but I want to wait another day, or at the very least, wait till the end of this day and see where it settles out, because it's still selling off here. So I'm concerned about. We lost this 279 level.
250. If we sell now, we get $5. What do you think? Should we sell?
I just don't. I'm just looking at the daily chart now.
That's pretty good. $255.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sell some 240.
I'm trading fixed risk on the 920 trade, because I know when I get in, I'm getting in basically at the 20 moving average. I'm giving it 10 cents or so on the Nvidia trade, 10-15 cents, and I'm hoping to get back through the 9 and then back to high of day. The 920 is a little bit of a different animal. Yeah, Crowd is still hasn't found a bottom.
Still selling off. So I'm considering setting some on it at 240. We collect $3.75. What's Tesla doing? Yeah, shit, I gotta get out.
Tesla's gone back to the VWAP. It looks like wow, AMD really rolled over.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna get out of Tesla, guys. Tesla, I was just late. See, that's another excuse that you should wake up early in the morning.
Netflix is making a move here. $630 was low of yesterday.
Out of Tesla, guys. Careful, yeah. Just want to make sure that. I saw some puts on CrowdStrike at 240, average 357. Let's see if that one eventually does settle down.
Yeah, a sec here. I'm looking at net. I'm thinking about Netflix puts here.
Settle down too. They had the earning, yes. So 620.
Yeah, they had their earnings on Thursday after the close.
CrowdStrike could be a good long. Let's see if we can get a 15-minute. So on a daily chart, CrowdStrike is 261.54 is a very nice level. If you can get that, could be a good bounce around this area on the daily chart. If you go here, it's a very obvious level, the gap started there. Yeah, so potentially.
There's an order at 265 on Crowd.
Very nice. Look at the trade that Paris did. Look at that. I'm sharing it here in the chat room. Very nice short cover and then pop up. This is really good at adding these pullbacks. And then boom, beautiful drop. Trade of the day. Nice here. All right, so Tesla, I got out of Tesla with a very bad loss. So let's see what Tesla is doing. Market is really rolling over. Give all the early pops back.
Yeah, it's giving up a lot of. I think it'll find a bottom, and then we might bounce back again. I think we're clearing out some of the people that got stuck buying higher. And now they're just taking some profits, or at least getting out at what they would consider to be break even or close to break even. So we're seeing some profit taking now on this gap up. There's Verizon on Bookmap. There are some orders here. Problem with Verizon, it really doesn't move crazy. You can see here, if we look back at the open, you can see Peter mentioned that he did a trade on Verizon. So you can see here right at the open, had that nice little pop up that he was able to short into. And then as they sold off, he started having some orders showing up here to the downside. And you could see where the stock price was going to go to, was going to gravitate to. So nice trade for Peter on Verizon. But I would say it looks like there's more orders here. But it's only 20 cents between where we are now and these orders. So, wow, Nvidia continues to sell off here. All right.
Yeah, the CRWD could be a good bounce for a reversal. Not yet, but I'm hoping that we can get to 261.77. And potentially, if the 15-minute chart starts making a new high, maybe potentially going long. I'm already long synthetically on by setting some puts at 240 for the end of this week. Let's back to rewrap. What the market is doing? Market is trying to find the strength. Qs are up 1%. I'm going to get back long on Tesla. I might regret this, but I might get back long on Tesla here at 248.82. This was a really nice bounce. It might go back to the high of the day.
Yeah, I might look at this crowd trade now.
A really nice short, Nathan, on Nvidia from 122. It's a really nice short. Nathan also trades really nice. He's trading based on the Bookmap. I think Nathan also suggested that he can do a presentation on his trading style. We should get in touch with him. It's a really nice short on him from R6. Very nice. Nathan from Colorado, very good friend of mine. All right, so let's see if Tesla can go back up. I'm long heavy at 248.75.
Yeah, we're definitely there's the bounce on the indexes.
All right, guys, you've
again.
been watching Andrew trade live here. He's long on Tesla right now, heavy, and looking for that breakout. So right now, doing good. Let's see how that takes place in just a couple of minutes. Friends, want to bring someone that you guys we talked last week on, Jared. So Jared, welcome, Jared, back to the market open. I was gonna say pre-market show, but it's not the pre-market show. Welcome to the market open as we're trading live. Man, so many things we could talk about. If you guys want to continue seeing Andrew trade live, you can do so in our membership. Bearwithtraders.com. You can go in there and see what memberships are available to you. Plus, you can also see it timely. So there's no delay whatsoever in the chat room. It's completely live. So definitely check it out. And I also want to announce Benzinga, right? Benzinga now is connected to us. So it's completely available to you guys. It's a very great source and feed that you guys can take advantage of. So make sure you do that. Just again, adding more value to the membership. Jared, so many things we could talk about today. I mean, everything's happening. Biden is out. China's cutting rates. CrowdStrike creating problems for everybody on the world here. What you got on deck for us this morning? So many ways we can go here.
Okay, well, thanks for the intro. Just testing audio as well. Audio's coming in good? All right.
Yep.
So, yeah, I think this is kind of looking back at last week and acknowledging that market was pretty keen to sell tech pretty heavily. That's where a lot of the initial, I would say, risk-off behaviors started to really show up. And what we wanted to look for moving into this week is either some stability and possibly some repositioning. Starting to identify whether tech is still going to be our leader for, let's just say, the rest of the month, possibly the rest of the next 3 months as we head into the election. Also trying to identify what sort of new sentiment is coming out of any of the volatility that we see from election news. I think from my perspective, I'm looking at this week as kind of a calmer week than last week. Probably getting some of the volatility metrics back into sort of, I would say, normal metrics, but then new volatility to proceed. So I don't think we're out of the woods yet. I think this market still has some downside baked into it. And it's mostly just from an uncertainty perspective. You know, there's a lot more minor shift that we're going to start to see with news coming out. Obviously, who's in the running for, I guess, the Democratic Party and how that's going to be perceived by the market. And then you pair all that with what we normally have on deck, which is what the Federal Reserve's actions are in response to our latest CPI and PPI 2 weeks ago. So quite a lot to bake into the market. I just don't think that volatility is quite off the table yet. And I think the market sees the risk moving forward.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, we've seen tech kind of take a bit of a hit. Like, for example, I always look at Nvidia. I'm not sure if that's what do you use as far as the biggest company in tech? Is it Nvidia? Are you looking at Apple when you're gauging this?
Biggest company still has to be handed to either Apple or Microsoft. They're going to have the largest market cap in the current moment. Nvidia took that crown for just a couple days, but it is technically Apple and or Microsoft, kind of depending on what day we ask the question. So Those two are going to be in the most in focus. They obviously have some of the biggest holding weight in things like the technology sector ETFs, and then just their larger market cap dominance in things like the S&P and the Nasdaq. But it's one of those weird characteristics where the stocks that are the largest aren't necessarily as volatile as Nvidia, and therefore
Right.
Nvidia's volatility could have a sharper impact depending on what the market is doing to it at that time.
Yeah, because I agree. Because again, Nvidia is just it's all over the place as far as its volatility and how much it can move, any given day. So, but yeah, we see some weakness there. Volume hasn't died down throughout the intraday. We're still great volume, but we are seeing a little bit of, if not at least weakness, at least flattening out. Right? There's not that push that we saw towards the beginning of the year where everything was just heading northeast. We kind of slowed down a little bit there. A lot going on with politics and everything else. Obviously, depending on which campaign kind of takes the forefront here, market leans towards more. If Trump wins, market tends to be a little more on the positive side, right? That we've seen that they're like more pro company, I want to say. But now things are really up in there where everything has changed over the last couple of hours, really. So we'll have to see how this shakes up in about a week or so. What do you think is the next sector that we should be looking out for that might see some kind of volatility, how we have seen in tech?
Well, I don't think it's worth completely ignoring the tech sector. I think we just have to be more selective. So there's likely going to be pockets of strength within, I'll just say, the larger tech grouping. Maybe staying, I would say, not completely away from semiconductors, but being cautious of where to enter and where to exit. Looking at tech stocks, maybe towards which ones held well last week. Those are obviously going to show like some divergence in how they were sold and how significant the Nasdaq drop was affecting their pricing. One stock, for example, Adobe. I just had it on my secondary list today. Not necessarily the best day trader, and potentially not even one that's ready to rally again. But you can kind of tell a difference here in how the stock went down last week compared to, let's just say, everything that was getting hit the hardest. You look at an AMD, for example, down almost 10% last week. It's got notable, technical differences in how it was sold. So, not avoiding all tech, just being more selective. Not just having sort of a glassy eye towards all tech stocks. We've seen new strength come into our Russell, so our Russell 2000, our small caps. That obviously hit some nice, impressive targets last week, and then we saw a little bit of profit taking. There are some market participants who are looking to buy those pullbacks. We'll be a little cautious depending on how this data is perceived, because lowering rates is short-term bullish for, I'll say, small caps. Growth stocks get a bid. They really haven't performed this year, and that was kind of a nice short-term opportunity. The question is, why? Are we lowering rates, and are we heading more towards a recessionary period, of which most stocks will not necessarily be bullish? There'll be a lot of struggling moves, and oftentimes there'll be more selling to come. So kind of just looking for the market to tell me what tone to take. The indices are obviously going to be the higher level kind of perception. And then, as we look maybe to industrials, or let's just say real estate, those are going to have sort of their own nuances to them. Maybe commercial might be hit a little bit worse, but residential not as bad. Industrials, I'm kind of thinking more towards the material side or the producer side versus refining side. There's pockets of strength that are starting to show. They really showed up on the PPI data that was released 2 weeks ago, and I think it's mostly just monitoring how their pullbacks form and whether or not they can hold those key breakouts, most of which are range breakouts. If you look at the charts. So
Yeah.
I think this week will be telling.
Yeah, let's get some questions here in the chat. Puppet Master is saying, Jared, do we buy the dip or get out slowly? And I think we might need some more info on that. What specific sector, market overall? So if you could add to that, Puppet Master, that'd be great. But if we go market overall, what are you thinking here?
Well, I like the idea of still maintaining a long bias net on the indices. It's hard to call what I would say like a secular bull market being completed. There's a lot of people calling tops in 2021, and the market continued to
Yeah.
rally. So it isn't so much about whether this market makes a new high by the end of this year. I think it's more about the next couple of months being a bit more tumultuous in how pricing is done. Um, I kind of look back to the period in July to August, and even I guess all the way to October of last year. If you look historically, July moving forward tends to be a bit more tumultuous, and it can all resolve itself in a breakout, moving forward. But do you want to hold a position for a couple months, and just kind of watch things meander or move back and forth around your entry? Um, so the technicals are saying we have to be a little bit more cautious with timing. The indices are saying that maybe there's some risk in the short term, and I certainly see that across some of the other market dynamics, but I don't necessarily like calling end of secular bull run. I'm not a crash advocate. So yeah, I mean, buying the dip right now has been working. This market still has a bullish lean on multiple time frames. It's just, have we pulled back enough? Is last week the end of it? I think it's just kind of signaling that there might be some more downside.
Awesome. And another question from Charlie. He's asking, it's SMH. I looked it up. It's the Van ECK. I'm not familiar with this semiconductor. Oh, it's ETF. It's ETF. So is SMH the safe alternative to semis? And I think you might be talking about something more specific, like semis, like individual stock.
Right. Right. So SMH would be an ETF that holds quite a few semiconductor stocks. It too carries a very large weighting towards the leaders like Nvidia. So suggestion there would be probably to do a little bit of work to actually outline what's in that ETF. It will move in sentiment with the larger semiconductor space. But for example, if we do see, let's say, Nvidia moving to the downside and a lot of other semiconductors not selling the same way, if it's more of a concentrated area of risk, SMH still might find itself lower due to how it's weighted. So I wouldn't say it's safer. You're getting a little bit more, quote unquote diversification, but it's all semiconductor related. So you just want to kind of know what you're buying in regards to that, and then more importantly, look at how it moves whenever there's periods of upside or downside. It's obviously going to track a larger group of names.
Awesome. Jared, thank you so much, man. This was very helpful. Thanks for joining us every Monday here. Just kind of go over the overall market. Guys, over on YouTube, we'll be back with Andrew. He is trading CrowdStrike and Tesla. Let's check out how he's doing. Thanks again, Jared.
All right. Later, y'all.
It's super choppy. It's coming. And Nvidia is going to go break the high of the day. Let me see if I can pick it. Nvidia trade on options. All
Just long some TSM here. See if we can get through 168. Here we go. Come
on. So that account is exactly like P Capital, but there is no funded there is no mentorship or trade book session or anything comes with it. Okay, Nvidia is going up. Let's see for
Tesla's really selling off here. Funny, it looks like it might go down to 245.
Is going for the breakout high today. I got some calls at 125, $2, which is good. Let's see if it's going up. CrowdStrike bounced back very nicely. Did anyone took this sold this puts? I'm up like $22,000 on that.
Yeah, that was a nice trade. Kudos to you, man. Oh, man.
Nah.
Yalla. Yalla, Habibi. All right.
When you're selling puts, you essentially become like an insurance company. You're saying that, okay, I'm gonna, these are cash secured pools, so you have to eventually buy that. So you need, I think, about 30% of the buying power needed. So you don't have to have all of it. You just need, I think, 30% of the buying power available. But the downside is, the insurance companies are like that. Their risks are unlimited. The profit is limited. So they're they call them, what do you call them? Asymmetrical risk to reward profit. So your risk is limited, you're unlimited, but your profit is limited. Like, for example, I sold the CrowdStrike 240 puts at $3.57. So that's the maximum profit that I gained. So that's the premium that I collected. But if it goes below 240, like 230, 220, 210, I have to, my risk is unlimited. I have to, buy it at 240 from someone. Yeah. So that's why they're very tricky. You can protect yourself by buying a put lower that is cheaper, and then you essentially cap your losses.
Yeah, I still have a small position on TSM, but we didn't quite get to 168, which is where I was hoping I'd get.
It's of garbage.
I'm just at break even right now on it, so
Paris is adding to his short on CrowdStrike right now. The news on Tesla that run up 4%. Was there any specific news, or?
I think everything, the market, if you looked at a lot of the levels on a lot of these tech stocks and at Tesla, Nvidia, they were all sitting right on areas of support. So kind of almost expected this, bounce today. Okay, so here we go with TSM. See if we can get
EDL.
Here we go. This finally, let's go, baby. It's a seller there.
Can I just get a coffee and come back? Sorry. I had a bad day trading day. It was really bad. But in terms of
Oh, here we go. Just got TSM 268. It's right at the VWAP right now. So let's see if we can continue to push here. Keep a little bit. Mara's finding a new low here.
today, which was the right?
Wow, Tesla options are, well, they would be quite expensive, obviously, because they're reporting tomorrow. What have we got for an expected move on Tesla here? It's at trading at 246, so 245, sort of 1775, 15 on the puts. So we're looking at about a, let's just call it rough and dirty. Let's call it a $30 move, one way or the other. No, I generally do not. I don't like to trade. I don't like to trade earnings. Make a bet on earnings. I mean, I think I've done it once or twice, maybe this year. I think I traded some AMD puts just because they were so expensive that I went like. I think almost like 3 standard deviations out of the money. And I thought, well, for the money I got for the, it was kind of a unique circumstance that the implied volatility was so high on it. And I was able to get a really decent, premium on the puts I sold. I thought, sometimes you just have to be prepared to take, if they do go, you have to be prepared almost to buy the shares. But I thought it was such a good deal, I couldn't resist it. And it worked out okay because AMD ended up capping up, and the puts I sold were pretty much went worthless. So we're getting a nice bounce on the indexes now. We're back at close to high of day. That was pretty predictable, actually. That's
That's going to go back to the high of the day.
that bounce from that sell-off.
It's going to break the high of the day at 123.
Seems like
it's going
it.
to go to 123.50. Yeah.
Now we're back.
Highs, very nice. Q's back 1.6% up. This market, nothing can make this market down, huh? Deeps are
Nope.
being bought.
SPY is at high of day again. This is Friday's high as well. Q's back at high of day. IWM went green. Somebody mentioned in the room they bought some TNA. What are we looking at on the Qs here? Yep.
Sorry, guys. Nvidia doesn't have much momentum, huh?
No. It's sitting at high. What's sitting in your high of day?
Netflix is super nice.
SPY is breaking out. Wow, Netflix is killing it. My puts, my 630 puts are looking good.
So focus. NVIDIA moves with QQQ most of the time. You can't say 100%, but NVIDIA is a big portion of QQQ. Another trade on Tesla, 248.73. I might regret doing that, but another trade on Tesla is squeezing through the rewrap. I don't know why I'm not trading anything else but this Tesla. Move was so nice at the open. Nice. Nice trade.